Welcome back, my fellow comic book friends, to Comic Casper. I hope you guys had an awesome holiday season. I hope that Santa brought you some fantastic presents and that you're reading some awesome comic books right now. Now, speaking of comic books, there are 24 collected editions so far that I have put on my wish list for the year 2024. 24 just happened to work out that way. I didn't plan it to be, and there's probably gonna be more that I will add to the list moving forward. But anyway, with that in mind, let's get started. Let me tell you what I'm excited for this year. Doesn't mean that I can afford it, but one can only hope. Let's kick it. Daredevil by Bendis and Maleev Omnibus Volume 1. Oh man, I've been waiting for this one to get reprinted forever. Thank goodness it is finally coming. I've heard people banging on about how great it is, and I finally want to get the chance to experience this. Having acquired a taste for the Daredevil comics since the writings of Chip Zdarsky, I've been on a mission to acquire all of the collected editions of our Man Without Fear, Devil's Reign Omnibus. Oh, you definitely know this was gonna be here. Apparently one of the better Marvel events. I just hope the tie-ins are woven in between the main event. I'm not a big fan of leaving them at the back. Just doesn't make any sense. Zdarsky on the writing, Capecto on the art, what more can I say? Amazing Spider-Man by Spencer Volume 2. I have the first Omni still on plastic, but with this released in 2024, I will have no excuse to crack it open and witness the whole run in its entirety. I heard it has some hit and miss moments, but I'm a sucker for those Spider-Man stories, and I simply can't get enough. Captain America by Mark Gruenwald Volume 1. This one is meant to be a classic banger with issues from the 1980s when hairstyles were bad and we had archaic technology like VHS, which was kinda dope. But let's be honest, the quality of movies sucked. Music always sounded like it was melting. Now the bulk of my collected editions is probably Captain America, Daredevil, and Batman. And you know I will be hunting this one. And that Wolverine vs. Cap cover is epic. Daredevil by Wade and Samney Volume 2. I need more Daredevil in my life. Apparently this run is meant to be a little bit more upbeat. Some aren't big fans, but I need my dose of Daredevil. And Mark Waid is a stellar writer when he is firing on all cylinders. Captain America by Nick Spencer Volume 2. I remember this run as super controversial for its time. While people were being overly dramatic on Twitter, I was really digging the exciting direction of this run, and I thought it had some of the coolest looking art. I'm keen to binge this run and see how it holds up, especially as it didn't get to read all the issues in the other titles, so I was getting a little confused near the end. Daredevil by Frank Miller Omnibus The Companion. I just read the Daredevil by Frank Miller Omnibus, and I will be dropping my review of it soon to you guys in a new review format that I hope you guys approve. As for the Omnibus, I just want to get more of a taste of Frank Miller's Daredevil back in the day. Star Wars by Gillen Omnibus. This is a follow-up from the Jason Aaron Star Wars Omnibus, which is pretty hard to find at the moment. My Star Wars reading comic book knowledge is pretty poor. So far, I tackled Darth Vader by Kieran Gillen and am just about to finish the High Republic Phase 1, and I'm impressed. There are some fun stories with an insanely massive universe to get lost in. Looking forward to seeing what else Marvel can do with this franchise. Ghost Rider by Jason Aaron Omnibus. Ghost Rider has got to be one of the coolest looking characters in the Marvel universe, and probably deserves a little bit more love. Jason Aaron is a fantastic writer, so this one is an easy choice, especially given I don't own any Ghost Rider material. It's about time I get to witness his stories in what will probably be a fun omnibus. Hulk, World War Hulk. I've got the Planet Hulk omnibus, so it only makes sense I get my hands on the very next piece of the story, World War Hulk. My Hulk ownership is pretty pathetic when it comes to comics, and I'm down to expand on that. The character that loves to smash can also offer a great deal of depth. Daredevil Shadowland. Of course, this one is on the list. I'm on a rampage to get all collected editions starring Daredevil, and I feel like 2024 will be the year for Daredevil fans to fill the gaps in their collections just like myself. I don't recall hearing anything about this run, so I honestly don't know what to expect, but it's great to see Marvel showing so much love for this character and getting on the reprinting bandwagon. Punisher Max by Garth Ennis. Alright, so this is a volume 1 and another character I've been am dying to get in a collected format, and written by none other than the man behind The Boys and Preacher. Apparently, this is a must-own for lovers of Punisher, but also Garth Ennis's work. I really hope Marvel shows more love for the Punisher in the coming months and years. This is a character I want to own everything and anything they are willing to reprint in an omnibus format. Frank Castle is a beast and has some of the grittiest stories the Marvel Universe can offer. Spider-Man: The Clone Saga Omni Volume 1. Here we go, the event that showed a great deal of demand for a reprint, but also an event that was known to be way too drawn out. And I'm here to consume all of this fun 90s insanity. I mean, when it comes to events, this one is straight up nuts. What started in 1994 eventually concluded in 1997. Mad respect for Marvel for milking this cow dry. It's gotta be great. I'm gonna love it regardless. Thor by Straczynski and Gillen Omni. My first proper Thor experience, believe it or not, was with Jason Aaron's Thor, the first omnibus, and I just couldn't put it down, as the story started off epic but also kept my attention throughout the whole collected edition. Keen to see what some of the modern preceding work looked like, and especially as Straczynski and Gillen were on this title, what else gets me excited what's coming soon, which is the current Al Ewing run, which is meant to be excellent, so seems like Thor is currently in good hands. Ultimate Comics Spider-Man: The Death of Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man is definitely a must-have for lovers of Spider-Man, but also a great way for newcomers to jump into the character. Taking place in an alternative universe, it's a lot of fun. Feels fresh, new and unique, but also familiar at the same time. I think as far as it goes when fitting into the entire run, this title should technically be called Omnibus Volume 6. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky Volume 1. Aw, you know this was gonna be on the list for sure. Let's be honest, this run is super duper dope. Daredevil not only looked spectacular due to the incredible pencil and inking work by Marco Cecchetto, but also the moving writing of Chip Zdarsky, who does an excellent job at keeping us hooked and throwing more challenges at the devil in his latest and greatest chapter to date. Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender. Totally missed this run first time around, also wasn't too familiar with Rick Remender's writing, which is a shame on me. I hear this is a near perfect omnibus, with some great artwork but also a great direction, and I am all for it. I mean, how cool is this lineup of characters? Psylocke, Archangel, Deadpool, Phantom X, and Wolverine. I mean, seriously, cool writer, some epic art by Jerome Pena, simply a must-have for all mutant lovers. Batman: The Black Mirror, the Deluxe Edition by Scott Snyder. I remember reading this in standard hardcover and really enjoying it. This is where Scott Snyder gets started with DC Comics, and boy did he surpass all expectations. They loved him so much over there. They simply handed the reins to him to write Batman, and he did that for the next 5 years, creating one of the most memorable modern Batman tales, even redefining the world of Gotham in a significant way. If that wasn't enough, Scott Snyder then went on to do work on the Justice League and wrapping it all up with some crazy events like Dark Knight's Metal and Dark Knight's Death Metal, which some loved and some not so much. As it stands, Batman: The Black Mirror is where it all started. It's grounded, it's simple, it's effective, and must-have for all the Batman lovers out there. Absolute Dark Knight, the so-called Frank Miller classic, about an old and tired Bruce Wayne still doing what he does best in a world that has continued to fall to pieces. And it comes in the most prestigious package, the Absolute format, so you can view it in an extra large size with some of the highest quality paper. Eventually, I'll have to get around to reading this classic. Dark Knight's Death Metal. Just like I mentioned before, this is finally getting the omnibus treatment all collected into one. I'm super keen to see how Snyder wrapped up this decade-plus long journey with DC Comics. At this stage, you gotta think he must have been exhausted writing comics back-to-back non-stop for over 200 issues. That's insane. Even if I don't end up loving this run, I'll still have a high level of respect for the absolute hustle at DC Comics, giving us crazy amounts of reading material over the years. Justice League Dark Rebirth. Can't say I know much about this. There's already a Justice League Dark Omnibus, which I believe precedes this and reminds me that I need to eventually get it. This one, however, is a colossal beast, clocking in at 1464 pages, collecting 64 issues, which I am sure will bring hours of fun, and I simply love John Constantine and Zatanna Zatara, so I'm down to see them in action. Which reminds me, now DC Comics, if we could please get more Constantine or Zatanna stories, that would be great. Thank you. Philadelphia Deluxe, the volume 2. Sorry, I don't have the cover art for this one just yet. Alright, this got me pretty hyped. The first deluxe edition of Philadelphia was a pleasant surprise. Rodney Barnes on the writing and Jason Sean Alexander dropping some stellar content. Image Comics bringing us some top-notch storytelling, which includes vampires, but in such a way that feels so fresh and exciting. I highly recommend people checking out Volume 1, and I'm totally down to picking up Volume 2. Plus, it is way more affordable than other published collected editions, and premium quality paper. Easy decision. Something is Killing the Children, Book 2. Okay, no cover art here too. The first book got me very excited and intrigued. I may not have been the biggest fan of the art to start off with, but it didn't take long for me to love it. James Tynion IV dropped this gem of a story, and I binged the whole collected edition and simply needed more right away. I can't wait for this one to drop, and it will probably be a day one pickup for me. I do hope it continues to maintain my level of excitement. Now, as to what the hell is this? Well, it's a supernatural story about something that is killing the children. It has horror elements, and I simply don't want to spoil it for you, so go ahead and check it out. Once and Future, Book 2. Also no cover art just yet. If you love Dan Mora's art, then you're in for a treat. Holy smokes, did the first volume deliver. I was consistently blown away by this visual masterpiece. Even if the story was terrible, it would still be a visual adventure. But it's not, because Karen Gillan is an exceptional writer and will deliver on every single issue. I'm hyped for this one for sure, as this volume will conclude the entire story. Here's a synopsis to give you a bit of an idea of the story. When a group of nationalists use an ancient artifact to bring a villain from Arthurian myth back from the dead to gain power, ex-monster hunter Bridget McGuire escapes her retirement home and pulls her unsuspecting grandson Duncan, a museum curator, into a world of magic and mysticism to defeat a legendary threat. Alright, my fellow comic book friends, well, that is my list so far for 2024 for all of the collected edition comic books that I would love to own. Doesn't mean I'm gonna own them, but you know, one can only wish. So guys, I want to hear from you. What is it that you want from this list, or maybe something that I haven't mentioned that's releasing this year? Always love hearing from you guys. Welcome to the year 2024. I know it's gonna be a great one for comic books, but maybe not so great for my wallet again. But then again, I'm trying to do my best not to buy everything that's coming out. And I'm gonna hit you guys up with some reviews coming soon. I won't be releasing videos as frequently as I used to in the past. You can probably expect a video once a fortnight from here on moving forwards. Hit the video with a like if you did enjoy it and a dislike if you hated it. So take care of yourselves, and I will catch you soon.